Hello there viewers, my name is Omega Luke and welcome to Tactic Tester here on FM Scout. I hope you're all having a wonderful Christmas period, whether you are working unfortunately like myself or whether you have it off and spending time with the family. I hope you all have a fantastic time. But today we are going to be testing another tactic. So briefly go over in case you missed last episode. In this video and forever going on through Tactic Tester, I will be using a tactic on the FM Scout website uploaded by someone just like you who plays the game and has found themselves a really good tactic. I will be delving into that tactic using a team who I think will fit it, or just a team who I think are mid-table and could use something a little bit spicier, not sort of like a top end side who are expected to win or get promoted. We are going to be using challenging teams for this series, and we're going to be simulating by going on holiday using that tactic to see what the results are, so we can analyze the tactic, see how good it performs using that side. Hopefully we get some really good ones and we can find you all a tactic that will suit your team, which will really bump you up in your league tables. And today we have a very unique tactic, a 3-3-2-2 formation. Quite a different tactic. I've never really used a certain formation like this, but I will leave a link to this tactic down in the description for anyone who wants to try it. Some very interesting results in this episode, so I do recommend that you stick around and see exactly how this tactic performs, so I think you'll be surprised. But last thing before we have a look at this tactic, if it is Let's Play Action, there is a link to my channel down in the description. A lot of you came over for my live stream that went on last Sunday, and it was fantastic to see a lot of you come over and really enjoy your time with me for 3.5 hours as we did Youth to Gold using Racing Club Strasbourg. So have a look either on your search engines for Omega Luke Gaming, or just click the link down below, come over and say hi, and maybe give me a nice little subscribe. That would be fantastic. But yes, this is the tactic. Nothing too sort of out of the ordinary, but with the complete wing backs, the three at the back, this roaming playmaker in the middle, two Mizzalas in the midfield, which is quite unordinary to be fair, on attack as well as the complete wing backs, and two pressing forwards. So one thing that really stood out to me with this tactic is it's sort of like symmetry. Obviously both sides has the complete wing backs, but you also have the two Mizzalas on the same, all the three defenders are on the same, and the pressing forwards are on the same. And I thought to myself that I've never really seen a tactic which is doing that. And of course in the last episode I used a tactic which most people are quite familiar with, the formation. This one I've never used this formation, so I've rarely see it being used. A few people tend to use it every now and then depending on what club you're at, but I've rarely seen this tactic ever used. And some of the results that this guy was posting that he claimed he got was quite interesting. And well, he's actually named the tactic Stockport First because he used Stockport 3 or 4 times and came first quite a few times using this tactic. We are Northampton, and Northampton, like I said, are placed in League 2. And if we have a look at the season preview, they are placed exactly mid-table in League 2, the bottom half, 12-1 favourites, but you know, mid-table side. There are a lot of other teams predicted to finish above them. This tactic, we're going to dive a little bit more into it, doesn't necessarily suit Northampton. However, I have already gone through and simulated the year forward, so I do know the result, and you're going to want to stick around because it's very interesting indeed. What I have done before I have gone on and simulated is I've set up, obviously to play this tactic straight away, but I've also set up both complete wing backs to train this position specifically, and McCormack, who tends to actually be, Alan McCormack tends to be their best player at a 4-star potential, even though he's 35 years old. Very good stats for this standard. I've also tried training him as a roaming playmaker on support, which annoyingly is one of the only ones he can't do in this position, but that doesn't matter. He's got a year to try and pick it up and learn it, so I've done that anyway. Let's dive more into it then. So it is an attacking formation, which does surprise me because this is supposed to be an underdog formation. So the fact that it is attacking, I know obviously we have them all on attack, so it would make sense, but this is described as an underdog tactic. Stockport, when he did it, was predicted to finish bottom, and he finished top. So in possession, fairly wide attacking width. Of course, we've got the two Mizzalas and we've got the complete wing backs. working the ball into box, playing the ball out of defence. We've got the 3 centre defenders there, not ball playing defenders, but you have the roaming playmaker who will pick the ball up from these 3. Also in here we have run out of defence, so that's your wing backs and your Mazzalas. Slightly more direct with a higher tempo, very standard stuff here, and passing into the space with low crosses. Going to transition, it is a gegenpress sort of style as well, but we all know that's so overpowered, so you're going to see that quite a lot. Distribute to the fullbacks, obviously using the complete wing backs. So I suppose in this underdog tactic, it does help if you've got decent fullbacks, and although they're not usually playing in this formation, in that position, in here, they are quite good for this level. Joe Martin there, and this guy, Nicky Adams, who's actually a number 10, can play in that position. So they're both capable of doing so. Throwing it long as well from the keeper, so I imagine right out to the complete wing backs. Out of possession though, using the offside trap, a much higher line of engagement and a much higher line of defence, so playing really high at the pitch. You might struggle if you come up against pacey wingers who try and get in behind you. You might struggle then. Getting stuck in, and of course we've seen last time on Tactic Tester, this really did pay dividends to what cost them maybe finishing in the top 6, because we had a lot of yellow cards, a lot of red cards, which therefore meant a lot of first teamers getting suspended. Prevent the short kicks, and extremely urgent, and with a standard defensive width. So there's nothing else really to show you but how this tactic got on. So let's do that. Right, so here we are then. We are on the 30th of April 2020. The season has ended, and Northampton, predicted to finish 13th, remember, finish 2nd. Very tight at the top, but they go up. Automatic promotion, behind Bradford by about 5 points. Not too bad really, not far off the top. Let's have a look more into it then at past positions and see how Northampton had been getting on throughout the season. And as you can see, once we sort of got into the groove, maybe this is where the tactic was sort of like filling itself out. The players were getting used to it. Once we sort of got to about here, and match day 12, which you can't see because my face is in the corner, against Leyton Orient with a victory, this is where the consistency really starts to pick up. So we drop down a position there, then they go up to 2nd for a little bit, down to 3rd for a long time from match day 22 to match day 29, drop down to 4th for match day 30 with a loss to Scunthorpe, back up though in a win against Macclesfield, and there we go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, another 6 weeks in 3rd place, the automatic promotions. We drop down though, game after game, a little tough run of form here, down into 6th place. And we continue a little bit further up, out into 7th place, which is still in the playoffs, and then up in the last 2 games of the season. Match day 45, up into 4th position after a win against Bradford themselves, the champions, and then finally up into 2nd position on the last day of the season, a 3-0 victory against Newport away from home. Not bad whatsoever, securing themselves automatic promotion, so not bad really considering their predicted position to begin with. Why not then, if we go and have a look at the tactic, I mean, these guys haven't necessarily learnt the tactic that much, haven't learned the position, but they've clearly performed well in that position. Just to have a look for reasons really, the injuries for this year, they've had a few that have been out on major. So Joe Martin there was out for 2 to 3 months. That was the guy who was playing complete wing back on the left hand side. He was out for a long period of time, so he definitely missed a few games there. But we also have a few guys out for 4 to 6 weeks there. A lot of moderates again. So injuries must have played a part, but clearly they either had enough people to fill in, or tactic was just that good that no matter who they played there, they sort of seemed to gel. Because remember, all I'm doing to simulate this is going onto my profile, going on holiday, and using match tactics. So once they're using that tactic, they aren't changing during the game. So they won't, like, once they're 1-0 up, they won't go to defensive. This is just solely focusing in on that tactic and that tactic alone without tweaking it whatsoever. If we have a look at competitions then, I mean, it's not really too important because this is obviously lower league, but they were knocked out in the first round by Blackpool in the FA Cup. Carabao Cup knocked out in the first round again, and in the Checkatrade Trophy, they got to the quarter-final, the Southern Section quarter-final, where they were knocked out by Portsmouth, and of course they finished second in the Sky Bet League 2. But if we go to the squad then, the most appearances was made by Chris Lyons, the centre midfielder. Sam Hoskins was also up there, who I do believe scored the most goals this season with 18 goals. Not a very good striker at all, really, if you consider it. And he did score a fair amount of goals, 18. So maybe with a better striker, you do even better. How many other goals have been scored? Chris Lyons got quite a few. Very good player for this sort of league. We also have Ryan Watson, who was up there with a few goals. Assist-wise then, Sean McWilliams, and the other centre midfielder, the other Metzala, not bad. I mean, I think if Northampton were to do better next year, they would have to recruit a few players, but he is quite good for this level. An average rating overall, 7.2, only a few sevens. And if we think about how Wolves did in the previous episode of Tactic Tester, they had sevens all the way down to about here, which actually filled out their squad, and they still finished 7th. Whereas this, finishing second, and the average ratings aren't that good, to be fair. Only 4 players above a 7, including Alan McCormack, Hoskins, the substitute striker, who didn't actually score. He scored 1 goal, so really, you're not really counting him, and Nicky Adams on the right-hand side. So overall, not too bad how they've done, considering how well the actual team has played. I'm quite curious then, it mustn't have been many goals scored in the league, and as we look down here, a lot of nils you can see, whether it be winning or losing. So it's quite a secure tactic, I suppose. A few big ones there, another 4-1 win there, a few 2-1 wins in a row, a lot of 2-1 wins in a row, 2-0 loss. So it does look like there's not like a huge amount of big goal scoring games. There's a Grimsby one there of 4-2, but a lot of it is 2-1s. Occasionally the odd 3 coming in. Overall, it's not like a hugely goal orientated tactic, but it does seem to work. You can't deny that is a pretty good tactic for this sort of mid-table side to end up finishing in second position. If we have a look then at the team report and go on the assistant reports, this is basically the best 11 that they would consider. So Waters and Hoskins up top, there's the other striker. They've actually been playing Hughes on this left hand side the most, and really he's not a very good player. So still, with all of those things going against them, they seem to have done really well. Last thing we're going to check then is the team stats. I doubt they're up there with a lot of things. I mean, they're joint 4th with goals. So, you know, I did say about the goals, it's not actually that bad. Joint 4th. Form-wise, they're up there as well. Games without losing, nowhere to be seen. Games without winning. Average possession, 52%. So for people who are like possession-based, who'd like to have a lot of possession, 52%. Not the best, but it's not the worst. They are up there, though, with the most red cards. And, well, we know the most fouls made again. So getting stuck in seems to really affect how much a tactic gets yellow cards, gets red cards, and all that sort of good stuff. So if you want to take that off and see what the difference is, I don't know whether you'll start conceding more or, you know, because obviously you're less likely to break up play, but you're also more likely to keep your players on the pitch because, you know, the most red cards in the league with 5 and the most fouls given overall, 785, a whole 100 fouls given against Northampton than second place Exeter, with 136 yellow cards, so a huge amount of yellow cards as well. So I don't know, what do you think about this? I think it's pretty good myself, this tactic. Let me know down in the comments if you plan on using it. Of course, just like the previous episode, the link to this tactic will be down in the description. So for anyone who's going to comment saying, how do I get on this? It is down in the description. If you wish to submit your tactic to the FM Scout website with a chance of it being used here on Omega Luke's Tactic Tester, you can do so by heading to the FM Scout website. There is a tab there which will tell you exactly how to upload your tactic. provide some screenshots, prove to me why it is good. The link is down in the description for that, as well as my channel is down there. If you like Let's Plays, I have a very good Conquering Scandinavia save that I'm going through right now, as well as occasionally on a Sunday night I will go live, just like I did last Sunday for the Youth to Gold, and it was fantastic seeing quite a lot of you come over and say hi during the stream. We had a good time for 3.5 hours, which I did not plan on going that long, but we seem to do very good on the Youth to Gold campaign, which basically, I'll go over it very short. I'm only allowed to sign teenagers, and I'm not allowed to use anyone 30 and above, with Racing Club Strasbourg in the French League. A lot of fun, a very hard challenge. Why don't you come over and say hi? But there we have it then, another tactic tested in the bag, and quite a successful one nonetheless. So let me know down in the comments whether you plan on using this tactic. I would really love to hear what your saves are and whether you think this will fit your team that you're using right now. Let us know all of that. It is really good to hear. But like I said earlier, have a fantastic time, have a great Christmas, drop a like on the video if you can, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already, and we'll see you after Christmas for some more videos and another tactic to be tested. Bye bye.